Hey guys, welcome back. In this video we're going to do something totally different. We're going to remove the factory fitted Motorola phone connector and install two USB ports instead. So this is my 12 volt charger. So it works pretty good. It works out the 12 volt socket or the cigarette lighter or whatever you want to call it. So it works in there, pushes in, charges my phone. Everything works. It's perfect. The charger itself isn't the problem, it's the location. You have to leave the ashtray down. All the coins like to rattle. And I can't see the boost gauge. If I have it up like that, you can't obviously charge, but it looks much cleaner. Kind of wish they had literally just cut this piece here off and just left it as a cigarette lighter that was exposed, or a 12 volt outlet. So I wanted to put maybe a 12 volt socket somewhere else. So I thought maybe in the glove box, but it's a bit awkward if you're driving to reach over to your glove box to pull out a cord to charge your phone. Same with in here, didn't really want it underneath my feet. Wanted it somewhere out of the way. Then I thought maybe put it in here, but if I throw any coins in there as well, they always have a tendency to fall into the 12 volt socket and earth it out. So then I was thinking, okay, where else could I put it? So then I started looking and I have a cup holder. But at the bottom of the cup holder, I have a Motorola or Nokia or whatever was cool back in the noughties of a phone charging point. What I'm going to do is probably get rid of this and put a 12 volt socket just there, or a USB socket. And then I can charge my phone. And when I don't want to charge my phone, I can just leave the wire dangling down here out of the way, or maybe throw it in behind me, because nothing's ever going to be in the back seats anyway. So that's my plan. So I'm going to take this out now and see if I can mount a 12 volt socket or a USB charger. So what I got is a 12 volt to 5 volt charger. So if you look on the side of it, it says 12 volt in and 5 volt 3.1 amps out. So it also says made in China, so who knows how many amps out it really is. I say it's probably just 1 amp because look at the size of it. If it was 3 amp, you'd probably need more heat dissipation. So it's probably a very simple little circuit. But there's no LEDs inside because I didn't want any of them. And what I'm going to do is have it wired up that it's on with the key and off with the key. Because you are converting 12 volt into 5 volt all the time. And even with no load in it, there is this tiny probably little load in it. I just don't want it to be wearing down my battery or anything like that. So I'm going to have it that it is off with the key and on with the key. So it shouldn't be too hard to wire up. But yeah, I think it'd be a really neat little mod just to have it there. Plus this is totally obsolete anyway. Okay, let's get into the video. So what I've done now is I've opened up the hole a little bit wider. I got some sandpaper and sanded up my USB charger. So I'm going to get ordinary super glue and glue it now. Okay, so this is the plan, to put it in like this. And yeah, if I was doing it again, I'd just get a single USB charger, but I got greedy and I wanted two, so I'm going to have two just sitting in like that. And so obviously you have to super glue the top and bottom corners. Okay, I've just after gluing it, so that's it now glued in. And the original one, I think it was like Mitsubishi or Nokia phone, it went horizontal, just after gluing it and just realizing I could have just gone vertical. I don't think it really makes any difference, but it might have made it easier to get cables in and out if it had been up and down rather than left and right. But as in like take all of this and just turn it 90 degrees. But I don't think it's going to make a huge difference either way. Okay, let's let this glue and try to figure out some wiring next. Okay, so I actually have my phone currently charging off it because I had to make sure that it worked. So there's all the connectors on. If you want to have a look over here at the volt and amp meter, so it is 12 volt coming in, it's being converted down to 5 volt, that's charging your phone, and it's at half an amp. So this 3 amp that they were talking about on the side of the cover, I think it's more wishful thinking than anything. Right guys, so now it's time to do a bit of wiring. So before we do that, please do subscribe. Alright guys, so I've run the cable from the fuse box all the way over the steering column, in here behind all of this, all the way up here, comes out here. This is the spool of wire I'm using. Yes, it is way too heavy for this job, it's way overkill, but I wanted 2 cores and I wanted it double insulated. So there's a black outside insulation layer, and then inside it is another 2 wires with insulation on top of it as well. So even if it rubbed off anything, it'd have to wear through 2 layers of insulation before it could earth out. So yeah, it's overkill, but it's overkill for what I wanted to do. So what I have is the charger, just you can see it there. That's 2 blobs of solder, and I'm going to solder straight onto it and then cover the whole thing in heat shrink. Okay, that's now the end now all soldered up. I'm about to put on the heat shrink and tape it all up. Okay, and we have it all taped up, so always try to keep your colours right. So red is always live, black is always neutral, or negative, or earth, whatever you want to call it. So I have both sides taped with black tape, the positive always taped up with red, and about to install it. Okay, I think that looks absolutely stealth and sleek. So you can just see just here, there's my USB ports, and I think it looks deadly. Okay guys, so now that's the phone charger part installed. Now let's do the wiring and get it all powered up. So here we are looking at the fuse board. These are all my fuses. So I hate having auxiliary fuses somewhere else in the car. I love just putting everything into just the one fuse board. It makes everything just look really professionally done, really sleek. And so we're going to look at these fuses here, the blanks or the empties. So I could put one here. They're a bit hard. I don't really like these small little fuses. So we're going to look at the bigger fuses that are much easier to pull in and out and work with. So I have 3 places, these 2 and this one. And I've had this board off already and had a quick look behind it. And all the wiring is going this direction. And these 2 are kind of covered in every other wire, so they're going to be quite difficult to get at. So I think I'm going to go for this one here. So we look here at all the different fuses. These are all the different ones. There's my cigarette lighter, but there's a blank here at 35. So that there is 35. So this blank at 35, that's the one I'm going to use. Okay, so now we have the cover here all off. What we're looking for is, there's the ground, so we will need a ground, and we will need these ones here. So this one here is for diesel, for the glow plug, so we don't need that. These ones here are constant 12 volt, and this one here is switching 12 volt. So when you turn on the ignition, you get 12 volt, and when you turn off the ignition, you get 0 volt. So that's what your radio would also connect to if you put in an aftermarket radio and you want it to turn off with the key. You need to bring a live from that over to your radio, because the original one will work on CAN bus. So that's why you need a switching 12 volt. So that's what we're going to aim for. Okay, we have a look here. This is the fuse board. Just after closing it, I've run 2 wires. So I turn on the key, you get 12 volt. When I turn off the key, you get 0 volt. That's going to go into this wire here. It's going to go into your fuse board, go through a fuse, which is like going to be a 10 or 15 amp fuse. Then it's going to come out of this, out again, and it has to come into this wire. It's going to change color into the red wire, and then goes the whole length of the car back down behind the driver's seat to where the cup holder is for the phone charger to charge my phone. Okay, that's now the switching 12 volt installed. Super. Okay, and that's now my 12 volt ground installed. You can see it here, it comes in through this wire here. That's the ground installed. Okay, I'm about to turn on for the first time. Hopefully there is no magic smoke. Brilliant. Okay, so I have to come up on my screen that it's charging. Okay guys, so I'm absolutely delighted how it turned out. It looks brilliant. It's total stealth. It looks like it was always there, which is what I wanted. And the nice thing is, so currently it turns on and off with the key. And if I don't want that, all I have to do is undo that nut and swap to the next one over, which said, I think it was a red 30 was written on it. And then it's on all the time. So it's exactly the same as the cigarette lighter here. So really happy with how it all turned out. And if you like these videos, give me a thumbs up. You can support me at buymeacoffee.com. Link in the description below. It's a virtual cup of coffee. And as always, thanks very much for watching. I will see you next time.